Aviso, no se usa disparos.
Padded Room Radio is back on the air, baby dolls. My name is Darian. I am back for another week of horror bullshit coming right to your face holes. Jason Harrell's in the house.
What to do, nephew?
What's going on, Big J?
Nothing.
Anything cool happening this week?
No. Doing the exact same thing as last week and the week before.
You are getting dangerously close to going back to work, my friend.
I know. I'm already plotting and scheming how to weasel my way out of that.
Faking illnesses already. Bro, rehearsing the faking of the illness.
Yeah, I told Sarah that I think I may have a small tear in my right knee.
Absolutely. I can tell you right now.
Let's just hold off on following up with that until I return to work.
We give it like 2 days, and then, we got to go to the infirmary.
I won't even claim it happened at work. I just want to, return to work and then say, hey, I've now been scheduled for surgery.
Sure.
I need to take the next 3 months off for rehabilitation. That leads me up to retirement.
I am sorry about the rehab and the surgery. This is terrible timing, I know, but I didn't plan it.
This is how I spend my days.
I was pulling weeds.
And scheming.
I love it. That's how you do it, Jason. I love that about you.
What's up with you, man?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I have just been named head coach of my son's flag football team.
That sounds great.
It is not. I don't know anything about flag football.
Yeah.
He had a team. Everything was going smoothly. We had our first practice and played our first game. And then the coach, after the game, pulls everybody aside and says, hey, I can't do Fridays anymore. And me and the other dads are like... And he's like, well, no coach, no team. Mm-hmm. And we're like... I'm thinking, I'm about to get my Fridays back.
Yeah.
And then all the kids start crying.
Oh, geez.
Oh, fuck! All right, I'm in. I'll do it. God damn it, you little bastards!
Look at you.
I can't handle it, man.
One little crocodile tear.
Oh no! It was like a chorus. It was like a chorus of I can't believe oh shit! All right.
A cacophony of pre-adolescent whimpering.
It was, and there's girls in there too, man.
Yeah,
it's a co-ed team.
Oh, okay.
Flag football, for those of you that don't know, is almost nothing like the football that we know and love. Okay, Jason, football is a game that's played where a ball is thrown and you have to try to get it.
Wait a minute, it's called football, but it's thrown?
But yes.
How do you throw with your feet?
Sometimes you kick it. And we decided that...
This makes no sense.
It's because Americans decided that soccer was dumb, but it made more sense for us to call. I don't know why.
Okay, all right.
It actually makes more sense for soccer to be called
I thought you were
football.
going to clarify this sport.
I have none. I cannot. But the football that we know and love is nothing like youth flag football.
Yeah.
It's a completely different set of rules.
It's the thing where they yank the little rag off the waist.
You got to yank the rag off, man.
Okay.
Is what it is. It should be called yank ball. Now that I think about it. Ball yankers is what that's
Ball
our team.
Yankers. Ain't that a TV show?
Oh, shit. If anybody out there has any clue about flag football, please hit me up, hopefully by Friday.
Are there some cliff notes?
Well, I'm looking for like a flag football for dummies kind of a thing. I've got till Friday to figure this shit out.
Well,
and
don't ask Tim because he'll get some kind of copyright strike.
I know. I'm sorry, Tim. I didn't mean to bring that up. I'm sure it's a very sore subject. I tell you what, though, my friend, we have the regular horror show to get into. Besides flag football, we'll do the flag football podcast next week. That'll be our Patreon thing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I tell you what. Yankers is what we'll call it. Here comes some horror news, Jason Harrell.
Horror news.
What you got, big dog?
I have heard that the movie Skinamarink that I mentioned last week is actually going to be coming on Shudder.
It is.
In February.
February?
Yep. We were going to go see it. It's actually in theaters locally.
Oh, really?
With one showing.
When?
We were going to go and see it on Sunday, but it was too late. It was at 6 p.m. So we...
you can't handle a 6 p.m.?
No, we could, but I wanted to get home so I could see The Last of Us.
Got it.
And Sarah has got to work on Mondays, and I wasn't going to not see The Last of Us.
Okay.
Priorities.
I'm not going to say a word. You goddamn kids with your 6 p.m. movies.
No, I was down for the 6 p.m. movie.
Right.
But that would have got us home at 8.
Okay.
And Sarah normally goes to bed like 8, 9 o'clock at the latest to go to work.
Do you want my HBO Max password? I'll give it to you. You can watch The Last of Us whenever you like.
Yeah, but the thing is that I didn't want to have to wait to see it on Monday.
Why would you have to wait? Oh, because that's when it hits.
I'm watching it with her.
All right. Oh, you're doing the whole thing with her.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense.
Whew, boy.
I tell you what.
Is there a rewind button on this thing?
There is a little edit thing I can do.
You don't
here.
edit podcasts.
I do not. I always talk about it, but I never do it.
That's all I got. Other than a lot of fucking confusion.
Confused? And you're old. Congratulations. I don't know how I feel about this, man. Sean S. Cunningham is developing a Friday the 13th reboot. On the one hand, I'm excited because it is Sean S. Cunningham who brought us the original Friday the 13th. On the other hand, we're going to reboot it, so
there's nothing you're going to gain.
Not really.
No.
I mean, really the only way to go is down, right?
Or I think it's just going to end up being as kind of status quo as the rest of them.
Okay. But if it's a reboot, I'm assuming he's going to not necessarily remake the first one, but he's going to try to kickstart the franchise somehow.
Right.
All right.
But what could you add to that?
I don't know. I don't think anything, really.
I'm intrigued.
I will probably check it out.
Oh, I'm definitely going to watch it.
I mean, I've been doing this podcast almost 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have I talked about a Friday the 13th remake, reboot, redo, redux, whatever a redux is? I have no idea. And we've yet to see one since, 2006, I think, was the last time?
Gosh, has it been that long?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
I know, right?
I'm on board.
Check it.
The more the merrier.
Sure. Here's something I am excited about. Violent Night 2 is in the works. Tommy Wirkola returning to direct. I'm into that. Did you get around to checking that out?
Still haven't seen it.
Now streaming on Peacock.
Okay.
If you're into it. If you want to check it out. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying it's there at your disposal.
But this is supposed to be actually pretty good.
I liked it.
And you're not telling me to watch it. Yet you'll tell me to watch a lot of shit.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Jason, because if
Just making sure I'm understanding you.
I don't want to suffer alone, okay? I want somebody to commiserate with me. Mm-hmm. Co-misery.
Co-misery.
That's what it is. Speaking of misery, there is a movie out there. I seriously doubt you've seen it, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway.
All right.
It is regarded by many to be the worst film ever made. I'm not talking about
the movie we made.
No.
Oh.
No, I think ours is actually better than this one. The film is entitled Birdemic.
Oh yeah.
You've seen it?
No, but I've heard how awful Birdemic is.
Bad in so I can't.
They just like at a festival, they just had Birdemic 2 or 3, I believe.
Right. Well, now Birdemic 2 has been I think Birdemic came out 2003-ish. Birdemic 2, which is also horrible, but not quite as bad as the first one, came out, I want to say, 2006. Birdemic 3 now has trailers up on Bloody Disgusting.
Yeah, I saw some snippets from it, and it's It looks like people just cut a single picture of a seagull out of a magazine, put it on a string or a straw, and just kind of flew it around.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. There is a lot of waitress level acting going on. A lot of unnecessary like close-ups and smiling for no reason.
Yeah.
A lot of awkward moments in that movie.
So do you think it's one of those movies that is deliberately bad, or
Oh, no.
it's purely accidental?
But the first one, you can tell that they were taking their project serious.
Yeah.
And they were trying.
Sure.
There was some legit attempts at acting going on.
Right.
Second one, I felt like we're kind of getting into Trauma Town territory.
So you've watched both.
I have. Of course I have.
Start to finish.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling... Hey, this is my job now.
It took me 3 years to get you to watch The Hunt.
You're right.
This is why.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm a terrible human being. What can I say?
Fair enough.
Let's see here. Speaking of Peacock, have you been watching The Vampire Academy?
No.
Don't start, because it's already been canceled after its first season.
Okay.
It's I don't know what it looked very tweeny.
It sounds very tweeny.
Yeah, so I was whatever. Lastly, here's something I think you will be excited for. Alex Wolff. Does that name ring any bells?
Wasn't he on like one of those tweeny TV shows?
Not
that was something else, Wolf, I believe.
Not exactly.
He wasn't on like shit. No, who is he?
He was in a movie where he drove a car. And,
Oh, that guy.
And his sister was having a bit of a thing in the back seat.
Okay.
And stuck her head out of the car to get some
Oh,
air.
yeah.
That is Alex Wolff.
Oh, the moldy guy.
Yeah, he does have a mole.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has just been added to the cast of A Quiet Place Day 1.
Nice.
I think that's good news.
You have yet to see part 2.
I have not seen part 2. I'm going to do that.
Too busy watching Birdemic 2.
You're right. I have no excuse. I'm a terrible person. No, let me tell you something there, Mr. Harold.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you one thing. Watching movies in this house is like reading a pop-up book.
All right.
You know what I mean?
I don't.
You get like a quick little 30-second snippet and maybe something, and then here comes kid number 2. And she's going to come in here and ruin it. Like, Daddy, I wanted these. And then you got to pause it, and you got to go sort her out. And then you come back. You really lose, like, the ambiance and the atmosphere of the movie. Watching movies in this house.
So that's why you stick to Birdemic and Birdemic 2.
Well, number one, those are what I call low-effort movies.
Sure.
I have to put very little effort into watching those movies. Number two, I know I'm not losing anything by pausing the movie to break up a dog fight, or wipe a butt, or whatever it is I have to do, or learn a goddamn flag football manual.
Yeah, but by that rationale, I mean, you would never have time to watch a quote-unquote quality movie.
So here's my approach. And I will, this is almost purely accidental. I'll wait till everybody goes to bed, and I'll be like, I'm going to bed, I'm going to go in the room, and I go in there and close the door, and I put a movie on, and if it keeps me awake, I will sail through it, and I will actually pay attention, much like two of the movies in What Are You Looking At This Week?
Okay.
If it doesn't, then I'm out, and I cannot report on that movie.
All right.
So that's where I'm at. That's the troubled life of this podcaster, Jason.
Okay. Prior to this week, what are the last 2 quality movies you have managed to get through?
Oh, well, quality's a subjective term.
Especially with you.
Quality's a subjective term. There, Mr. Harrell. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Hold on, let me look at my notes. I did, In Search of Darkness, 1 and 2. I had to spread those out, though.
Yeah, but there's that's not like a movie.
Gone in the Night was a good one. That was one that kept me awake. And I was like, I'm not going to fall asleep. I want to see what's going on here. That's one worth checking out. Winona Ryder, too.
Okay.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Like I did something great. I watched a movie.
Look at me go.
I made it through one, finally.
Look, the guy who has a movie podcast watched a movie.
I actually got one in. All right, goddammit.
Well, you have certainly put me in my place.
I tell you what. Let's get into some listener mail there, Mr. Harrell.
Let's do.
Listener mail.
Yes, sir. We got emails and voicemails and all kinds of stuff going on here, Jason. Let's kick things off right here in Reno, Nevada. Here comes the cowboy. Subject line, Lovecraft. Evening padded room. Hope everyone is doing well and someone made it in tonight. Darian, glad to see you guys enjoyed the jelly beans. Haha, that was a highly entertaining video. So, like a year ago, Cowboy gifted me and my family a box of spicy jelly beans. Varying levels of spice. Mm-hmm. The least spicy is sriracha. The most spicy is Reaper. Carolina Reaper. Mm-hmm. So we put them in the cupboard, forgot all about it. Found them the other day when we were cleaning out the cupboard. So I thought, oh, okay. It just so happened that the neighbor girl was over too. Mm-hmm. Who wants to do the spicy jelly bean challenge?
We do.
Of course. So I videotaped it, or I video recorded it. You can't really say videotaped anymore.
I think but most everybody still says.
It's kind of like the nomenclature.
I
taped it. I videotaped it. I recorded it on my phone. Everybody except for me and my daughter did sriracha. Mm-hmm. I did, of course, the Reaper, which is hot, but it was over like that.
Was it?
I've eaten the actual Reaper.
Yeah.
That stays with you. It gets on the inside in your teeth and your gums, and it hangs, and it gets on your fingers too. But they made complete vaginas out of themselves, which is good for them. I don't think that neighbor girl will be coming over again anytime soon.
Not very impressed. With
she was not.
Performance.
Do not eat anything from that house ever. Totally missed writing in last week. Crazy at work, and by the time I realized it was already after 8 p.m. Quick meat hook with Lovecraftian movies. My top 3 are Color Out of Space, The Mist, and Grabbers. I forgot about Grabbers. Remember that one? Mm-mm. Irish horror comedy where the tentacles are just coming out of the ocean and swiping people.
No, don't think I've seen it.
It's pretty fun. It's actually really funny. Haven't had time to watch much lately. Hope everyone has a great week. Catch you on the flip, cowboy. Grabbers is pretty good.
Yeah,
it's because it's like an Irish village, and it's a small one, so everybody is hammered all of the time. And I think at one point, like the local constable decrees that alcohol is a deterrent to the tentacles, so he makes everybody go to the pub and get hammered.
Yeah, sounds like you
have it.
Pretty good plan.
Absolutely. We got some voicemails here, Harold. It's our main man in Alabama. Here comes Alan.
Padded room, what's up?
What's up, Alan?
Okay, Meat Hook, 3 Lovecraftian horror movies. I'm going to go Event Horizon, Reanimator, and then number 1, Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu.
Mr. Darian, are you Christy? And finally, I have seen The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. I saw it under the name Sleeping Corpses Lie. And if I remember correctly, a zombie eats a kitty in that movie.
Yes, he
That was
does.
a pretty good flick. Hope everybody's doing good. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
That movie actually came out under a few different names. Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, Don't Open the Window. It's out there, man. There's many different names and titles you could find it under. It's all the same movie. But the box art changes depending on what title you get. So there's that. Let's get down to Southern California. Here comes Mr. Tom Hardy himself. Hey, yo!
Padded room. How's my favorite degenerates this week?
Well, we're here.
I do hope everyone's doing well. And, Darian, hope you got somebody to talk to.
I do.
I got a couple things I wanted to get to. You were talking about comic book movies.
Yeah.
Or no, not comic book, video game movies.
That too.
You had mentioned the House of Dead flick.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, that has one of my all-time favorite bad movie fucking lines in it, where at the end, if you remember, the villain is like explaining his plan.
Yes.
And he tells the girl, like, and then I will be immortal.
Yes.
And she says, well, why? And he says, to live forever. And it just always cracks me up. Like,
it's kind of self-explanatory, really.
He fucking meant, but I don't know. Yeah, it was a bad flick. That one fucking
terrible.
sucked.
It's terrible.
Hey, also last week you were mentioning how you had seen Danielle Harris.
Yes.
As like a little girl in the Halloween flicks, and
Correct.
then you thought it was weird that she was fucking, to say that she's hot because you saw her when she was a little kid.
Right.
And shit. Man.
It's a thing.
I get that, I guess, but fuck, I don't know about you, but I used to watch Who's the Boss, and I watched that shit for one fucking reason.
Alyssa
and it
Milano,
wasn't fucking
baby.
Tony Danza, I tell you what, man.
Okay.
I fucking had it bad for old girl Alyssa Milano.
Oh, okay.
Before she went off the fucking deep end, but
I
don't know. Maybe it's just my intestinal fortitude that I'm able to push through that.
And, you got to do that sometimes.
Masturbate. But other thing. Fuck you for your fucking
now what I do?
Megan Fox's fucking toe thumbs or I
was hoping
I fucking did look it up, man. That's fucking disgusting. God
You're welcome,
Jason Harrell. Man,
I warned you.
That's bad shit. But anyway, you know what? I did want to move on to the fucking meat hooks.
Yeah.
Because I want to pretend like I totally forgot about the educating. Because
Okay.
I don't know this fucking one either.
Alan got it.
But we were talking about Lovecraft-inspired flicks.
Yeah, what do you think, man?
And you know what? I don't think you can do much better than From Beyond, Reanimator, and I do think you guys are forgetting a big one.
Huh.
What about The Evil Dead?
Yeah.
I mean, that is
Necronomicon,
fucking Lovecraft.
It's true.
Taken to a new level, taken to a different level, but Reanimator isn't a fucking direct, translation.
Obviously
but
not.
It truly is H.P. Lovecraft inspired. I mean, you got the Necronomicon, you got the fucking Demons in the Woods, The Other, and you got fucking a critter, a bad guy, that drives you insane.
It's true.
And that's something...
It's true. I didn't even think of it like that. But to be fair, Mr. Hardy, in the first Evil Dead movie, it was not called the Necronomicon. It was called Nacharon de Manta or something like that.
Nacho del Taco.
Exactly right. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a number 4 from Taco
Yes.
Bell. He's right, though. It is very Lovecraftian when you think about it. He got GP'd, but he did call back.
G
motherfucking
P.
G to the motherfucking P.
Hell yeah. Sorry about that. All right.
No, you're good.
You were mentioning about how there's no really true faithful adaptations of Lovecraft's work.
Right.
And you know what? There is another reason that I believe there are no true faithful adaptations of his work. It's when you're reading the work and it describes, the ancient ones or the deep ones or whatever.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of description.
No,
and
it's just...
generally it says something to the effect of if you were to gaze upon it full light, it would drive you mad or insane. And I think it's one of those things where if somebody were to attempt a faithful rendition of it, how the fuck do you pull that off, with special effects? Whatever this is, it's got to be so fucking out there that it would make you insane to look at it.
Yeah.
Or you got to pull like a Blair Witch and not show it.
That makes sense.
And then well, fuck, So people are going to be disappointed no matter what.
True.
So I wonder if that might be one of the things that kind of limits the movie adaptations.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got. Hope all is well. Love you like family. Bye now.
Love you too, Tom Hardy.
Enjoy fapping to those toe thumbs.
I tell you what. You just put your dick away, Tom Hardy. You're not going to need it for a while. You and your fucking toe thumbs, Jason Harrell. I read an article once about, I think it was in Maxim. Is Maxim still a thing?
Don't know.
I don't know either. But it was comparing different horror writers and their styles. Mm-hmm. And basically it gave like a breakdown. It was like, Dean Koontz, the monster is over there. It's very scary, but it's an alien. Clive Barker, the monster is over there. It wants to have sex with you. And by the end of the book, you're going to want it to have sex with you.
Yeah.
Stephen King, the monster is over there. It's very scary, but don't worry about it. There's a guy over here cheating on his wife. Let's focus on that. And then it went to H.P. Lovecraft. The monster is over there. It's so scary, I can't even tell you what it looks like. You know what I mean?
Accurate.
Very accurate, I found. Right on, Tom Hardy. Do you have anything for Tom Hardy, Alan, or the cowboy, Jason?
Thanks for everything.
Would you like to try a jelly bean?
No.
Okay, never mind. Thought I was going to get you, but...
No. Old man stomach.
It doesn't work anymore?
Can't do it.
Fuck. No, it's ruined your whole intestinal tract.
Yeah, I'm just systematically breaking down.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, fuck, man. All right.
First went the spine, then the stomach, and then my will to live at times.
You are holding on by a thread. I got to get you to bed before you fucking expire. Let's do a movie. This will put you to sleep.
Let's do it.
Thank you for doing this. And you don't really want to be here.
Maybe it'll work.
Do you think that's the cabin that we're in?
Yeah, looks like it.
Snow's starting to come down, and it's going to be heavy out there tonight, so be careful.
I was born and raised in these woods. I'll be just fine.
Casey, help! Casey, help!
What do you want me to do?
Just do it!
Passenger.
She's awake.
What's your name? Leslie Bison.
Dark Horse Leslie Bison.
Leslie, I'm going to go down and get you some help.
Sure.
Where did you say you were renting again?
I didn't. I'm not a renter.
If things had been different, you could have joined us. You certainly have the stomach for it.
The stomach for what?
What's coming next?
I'm gonna kill you for this.
No, you're not, dear.
Yeah, that is Dead Night from 2017, also known as Apple Carts. Why is it also known as Apple Carts? No idea. Any thoughts on that, Jay?
None.
None whatsoever. There's no apples that I saw in the movie.
No cart.
And they had a car, but not really a cart. Anyway, it's from 2017, got 4.4 stars on IMDb, written by Irving Walker, directed by Brad Barch, stars Brea Grant, A.J. Bowen, and, of course, Barbara Crampton. Excuse me. I'm going to need some help on this one, big guy, because I don't get it.
This movie has the most inconsistent snowfall I've ever seen.
And very little oxidation of breath, which tells me that this was probably filmed in somebody's garage for the most part. That's fine. I'm down for a low-budget movie. It just has to make sense, man. It has to make sense.
Yeah.
And that is a problem that we have here. We're going to start off in 1961, Jason Harrell, with a young couple out on a... Well, they're looking to fuck in the back seat is what they're looking to do. And we went out in the woods somewhere, and we found a shady spot in the middle of the night, and we're about to get it on when Sally, or whatever the hell her name is, hears something creeping about. From there, Brad, or whatever his name is, goes out to investigate and, of course, gets killed by something that we can't quite make out what it is. From there, we cut to somebody giving birth while being tied to a tree.
The same chick.
You think it was the same chick?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure. I'm willing to sign off on that. So, would that be 9 months later, or we just, she was, I didn't
Fastest pregnancy and delivery ever. I'm not sure. It
has to be, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, she's pregnant. She's tied up to a bunch of trees, and she births a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's something looming about. Mummy, I would say. Some individual wrapped in bandages or sheets or something with like big talons.
Mm-hmm.
Very scary. Not sure what's going on here. Now we're going to jump right to present day. We are joining a family on a trip to a rental property, somewhat Airbnb-esque. And it's funny. I try, Jason, not to pick these movies apart. But there's nothing I hate more than that, I don't know, page and a half of exculpatory dialogue where we have to summarize why we're here, who we are, where we're going, where we came from, all within like a quick dialogue.
Yeah.
Dad, you've had cancer for 3 months. We're going to this iron oxide deposit with a house on top of it to cure you. Mom, you think it's really going to work. Oh, I think it's horse shit, sweetie. Oh, Dad, you need to be more positive. Come on.
45 seconds in.
I'm telling you, man, I hate that. And I'm sorry. I understand we have a lot of character development to get to and not a lot of time to get to it. I can figure out on my own that this is a family.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to bring in the story with the cancer and the iron oxide. They could have just been going to an Airbnb. Would have been fine.
But also, you say that you can figure out and see that this is a family, but they made it deliberate that the son or the daughter calls the mother by her name,
first name,
not mom.
Yeah,
for no reason at all.
Is there a point to that?
Because it's never, expanded upon like they have this bad relationship or anything.
Well, I have a theory as to why that's in there.
Okay,
we need it, and that's another thing that I hate in movies is where we have to constantly identify each other. Jason, we're doing a podcast right now, Jason.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it a lot because I think it's funny, and I like combining your first and last names into,
right.
into one title.
Look at here, Jason Harrell.
Listen, Jason Harrell. But in real life, nobody does that. You know what I mean? But for the purposes of this movie and this weird little side trip we're about to take, the mom's first name becomes somewhat prevalent and important, that we identify her. Which was a terrible idea.
Yeah, but they're going to drill that into you repeatedly through the remainder of the movie.
I don't know why. It's terrible. That's a bad idea.
I don't know.
So you're okay. Let's just take it at base value from where we are right now. We've got a family going to a woodland Airbnb situation. I'm on board. I love a horror movie that takes place in the woods. The family, there's no discernible dickheads involved, so,
Yeah, it's supposed to be a place of healing.
Sure, but I get it. Okay, we don't need to oversell that, but you're right. They do keep, they really hammer home the point that the mom's first name is Casey. So they get up there, they start, like, moving around. We find out that she rented the place for a couple of weeks from her friend Mika, and Mika rents the place out as a quote-unquote place of healing because it sits on top of a iron oxide deposit, and that's supposed to cure the body or realign the body or whatever the fuck. And we also find out that the dad, played by A.J. Bowen, has some kind of cancer, although he is spry for a cancer-riddled individual.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him. They're going up there to rest, relax, and get some healing. And for some reason, we brought the teenage daughter's hot friend with us, too, which seems a bit counterintuitive, but okay. Off they go. They get there. Once we get there, this is the part that I don't understand, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So
this is the part?
There are many, but this is the start of the part that leads to other parts. We have these lurkers in the woods. No, they're not tit lurkers. There are no tits in this movie. I was hoping there would be tit lurkers.
# bring back tit lurking.
There's no tit lurking in this movie. I could have used some. It's basically our mummy character, and it's just kind of lumbering about out in the woods by this property. Okay, very creepy. At some point, the mummy character goes to...
Yeah, they did look like Mumra from Thundercats.
Don't fuck around, man. Mumbra will fuck you up. You better get Lionel and Panthro on the phone. The mummy character goes back to like a weird clearing where she has a pretty kick-ass AV situation set up. There's like 3 TVs, a tuner, a subwoofer, random cables coming out of things, and all the cables are plugged into what I can only call it's either a turd or a cocoon.
It looked like a turd.
That's what I thought too.
It was a giant poop emoji.
It's what it looked like, was a big turd. We don't really get any kind of explanation as to what this thing is, but it looks like a big cocoon, or it's kind of turd-shaped. And they've got all this AV equipment set up and hooked up to the turd. Okay, so our mummy goes back there, turns on the TV, and starts watching true crime documentaries.
That's what all mummies are known for.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
There's a big following for true crime from the mummy crowd. Yep. But the true crime...
Maybe they were trying to find Tom Cruise's The Mummy on television.
Oh, I got it. They could have borrowed it from me. I got it on Blu-ray. Special edition. Tim, I got the special edition one for you, Tim.
Is that the version that don't suck?
No, there is no version that doesn't suck. The true crime documentary is about Casey, the mom, and how she murders her entire family and sets the bodies on fire.
Spoiler alert.
Big time. Big time. So that's kind of weird. And intermittently throughout this true crime documentary that the mummy is watching, in the middle of the woods, we get campaign ads featuring Barbara Crampton playing Leslie Bison, running for governor. I'm Leslie Bison, and I approve this ad. And she's like walking around talking about how she's going to fix this place and do this and that.
Yeah.
Campaign ads always show them like pointing at things and smiling.
Lots of pointing.
Yeah. I'm going to build something over there. You're going to love it.
I'm going to waste money over there.
That's right. Your tax dollars going right here in my pocket. Very strange. And then from there, we cut right back to the family. Okay. What are we doing here, Jason?
Wasting
I
time.
I don't know. The family is settling into the house. Very cool. The dad is trying to get somebody. I guess there was supposed to be some firewood, but he can't find the axe. So he's like, I'm just going to go out in the woods and start looking for firewood. Anybody want to come with me?
Yeah, like he can't even remember the daughter's friend's name.
Right.
Because of this cancer that he has. But they're going to let him just wander out into a snowy wilderness.
Yeah.
All by himself.
Sure. Nobody wants to help him either.
Yeah, well, because he said he was going to go out and get wood, but I believe he said, I'm just going to go out like into the woods and get the wood.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was neatly stacked outside the door.
No.
Yeah.
I'm
basically going to go chop down a tree.
Yeah. At one point, they're like, watch out for wolves. And he's like, wolves love me.
Yeah.
And okay.
Sure.
You're going to go walk off a cliff is what you're going to do, tough guy. He's out there walking around looking for wood. From there, we get like a very touching moment between mom and the daughter. And she's like, oh, sorry, dad has cancer. And she's like, yeah, we got to do something. We can't just wait for him to die. So that's why we brought him up here. Okay, fair enough. And then the daughter and her friend step outside to smoke a cigarette because, I don't know, why not, I guess. Chances are that actress smoked, and they didn't...
Needed just a smoke break.
Yeah, and they didn't want to have to keep breaking for her to go smoke a cigarette, so they just said, fine, you can smoke, let's go. The son, on the other hand, is more than content to just stare at his phone the whole time. Good for him. While dad is out there walking around, he happens upon a unconscious lady laying in the snow. So he picks her up and brings her back to the cabin, or like close to the cabin, and then everybody comes out and helps him. And it's Barbara Crampton. So we're going to recognize her as the lady from the campaign ads, but I guess our family does not. So maybe she's not running for, maybe they're not from that state, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Once they get her inside, they get her warmed up. She's very familiar with the place. And once she gets inside, she's like, oh, I'm good. What's for dinner? And she like starts rummaging through their fridge and pouring herself a glass of water.
But I don't get so she claimed that she was like born and kind of grew up in those woods.
Right.
But she was like basically dead when they found her. Her lips were blue. Like it looked like legitimately she was out.
I think we are supposed to write that off as her using her abilities to appear that way, just to
lure them in,
get entry into the house or the cabin.
Gotcha.
And something I glazed over.
I
was
love movies where we have to invent the writing.
We have to do the writing for them. Yes, it's great. Before that, she called an Asian young lady who we'll find out is Mika, the owner of the property, and they have like a whole clandestine conversation about, oh, yeah, they're up there. Okay, I'm going in. Oh, well, what about it's cold out here? Well, I grew up in these woods. I'll be fine. Yeah. So Mika, the owner of the property, is clearly in on this, whatever the fuck is about to happen. Good for her. Barbara, we'll call her Barbara from now. She gets let into the house. She's making herself at home. She's a bit of a Jason Harold type, is what I would say. She's a little on the dicky side.
Jeez.
I mean, she's got a charm about her, but at the same time, she's kind of...
I thought she was a right cunt.
She's like, oh, this place, Mika rents it out to sick people. Which one of you guys is going to die here?
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, man.
She just walks over to the fridge. She drinks down the whole quart of milk.
Yeah, starts just making herself at home.
Big fan of dairy.
Eating their dinner, and the family is being a bit put off by it. And they're like, you know what, dude? I'm going to call you an ambulance because clearly you're not right. And she's like, oh, fine, just whatever. Now, before that, we saw somebody just before this point, our weird lurker posse out in the woods. One of them went up to the turd and snapped the tip off and walked off with the turd tip. That's going to come into play here in a second.
Yep.
As they're escorting Barbara Crampton, she introduces herself as Leslie. This is the Leslie Bison from the weird faux commercials that we've been watching this whole time. She introduces herself. They're escorting her out because she's being a little weird and aggressive, and she's asking too many questions. As she grabs a light bulb and smashes it, which apparently shuts off the power to the whole house.
I didn't even notice that.
That's a thing. And then she takes the turd tip out of her pocket and slams it into the back of the daughter's neck.
Mm-hmm.
From there, Casey... or actually the dad is like, all right, you're getting out of here. And he's trying to shove her out the door. Casey grabs a knife and she's like, yeah, you need to leave right now. From what we can see, Leslie gets on top of, she starts pummeling the dad. So Casey grabs the knife and starts stabbing the shit out of Leslie. Mm-hmm. But then she's like, what? Ah! And then she realizes that she was actually stabbing the dad and not Leslie. And then she stands up. She's like, oh, my God, what did I do? And then Leslie pops up behind her, and she's like, hey, you're a killer. And then she vanishes. Okay, so clearly Leslie Bison is some kind of supernatural. Maybe she's a ghost or some kind of a succubi or something like that. I don't know what she's into. But scary stuff. From there, Jason, the daughter's hot friend, excused herself before all the swinging started. So she's upstairs hiding. Jason, the son, is a right vagina, so he runs upstairs and starts hiding with her. This part I thought was particularly humorous because he's hiding in a closet. He sees hands coming out to fiddle and poke, so he's like, no, get away! And then he very quickly realizes that the hands aren't there, and he's just given the I'm going to feel you up hands to the daughter's friend.
Oh, I didn't even see that part.
I got a little chuckle out of that.
Yeah.
Inappropriate, but still. The main daughter, the one that smokes cigarettes, though, she kind of goes full Deadite on us for a few minutes. And
that damn E. coli.
Tell you what, man. Fuck you right up.
That turd tip.
You don't want the turd tip. I almost ordered a turd tip burrito the other day, and then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I don't want to roll the dice on the turd tip. She goes full Deadite, and she's up, and her eyes are rolled back, and she's got blood running down her face, and she's like, and she's staggering around the house trying to find these kids. She almost gets to the closet where they're hiding, and then Leslie gets into a confrontation with Casey downstairs, so the daughter goes running downstairs to attack Casey, her mom. Very cool. While that's going on, we're gonna keep jumping back and forth to this weird Inside Crime or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
This true crime documentary about the crimes that we're watching right now. Bad idea, man. Bad idea is what I say.
There's movies where those faux newscasts, like, they hit.
Yeah.
But when they don't hit, boy, they are just laughable.
And this
one, because you had a very recognizable character actor as like the main interviewer
Roebuck.
guy.
Yeah.
So that takes you immediately out of the realism of it being an actual telecast. It was just awful. It was so off-putting.
It was very. You could tell they were going for like an A&E vibe, like one of those true crime thing, like one of those hour-long special things.
I will say that their theme music was pretty realistic.
Sure.
That was it.
I think the acting from the reenactors in the thing was better than the acting of the actual actors. There's no dialogue from those guys, though. So
but I didn't see any turd tips being used.
They omitted the part of the turd tips. So from there, we go back and we basically what our documentary is telling us is that at some point throughout the course of the evening, Casey is going to murder her entire family and set their bodies on fire out by the lake. And the neighbor is going to witness the last murder. And also the daughter's friend is still missing and unaccounted for, so there's that. Well, now you just told us how the movie ends, so why do we need to go forward any further? You know what I mean? And
I wished I didn't have to.
Me too. I would like this movie. It's got Barbara Crampton in it. I'm in love with her. It's got A.J. Bowen in it. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of his. And again, somehow it just completely falls short. It reminds me of that goddamn Western that Buddy made us watch with the whorehouse and the witches. Lots of talent in that movie. Still a shit show.
That was way better than this.
You think so?
Yes.
You're right. There was tits in that one. There's no tits in this one. All right, anyway, so we're just going to have to jump back and forth between this mockumentary and what's actually going on. Now, as the family was driving to the cabin, the daughter's friend, Becky, I believe her name was, kept making references to wanting to get a hold of her grandmother to let her know that they arrived safely. The grandmother's name, I don't know if you caught it or not, was Lily Lane.
I didn't.
Which is also the stage name of one of my favorite porn stars.
Oh, noted.
So, not the same actress, though. No, it is not.
Right after Ron Jeremy.
No, it is not the same actress, goddammit. From there, as we left off, the daughter was coming down the stairs to attack Casey as she was getting in her screaming match with Barbara Crampton. Luckily, the daughter's friend grows a pair, because the son clearly isn't going to, runs down there to help Casey. They get the daughter off of Casey and somehow manage to cut the daughter's ear off and impale her with like a fucking broomstick or something.
I thought it was like a fire poker.
It could be. You're probably right.
I don't know.
So for a
it was a pretty good ear severing.
It was, but this part I'm not sure I fully understand, because it looked to me like the deadite or whatever it was, the turd tip, left the daughter for a second and jumped into the dad. Is that what you got?
Did not get that at all.
Okay, well, it's either the dad or a completely random dude.
Can't say I was.
You're already checked out.
Really staring, though.
I'm trying to make sense of this, Jason.
I did, actually watch the movie.
Okay.
But,
I'm not saying I did too, and I still don't know
I
what
wasn't
the fuck
even
is going
passively watching. I wasn't dicking off on my phone.
I got a full page of notes here.
I actually paid attention to this movie.
Full page. I got a complete kill count and everything. I even wrote down the director, for Christ's sakes. I did my due diligence here, buddy. I think I don't know. It looked a lot like the dad, but at the same time, it wouldn't make sense, because in a few minutes, another character is going to get killed, and that character doesn't get reanimated. But I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Well, the dad is definitely running around as a deadite.
Okay, so that probably was the dad out there.
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
Okay. It didn't quite look like him, but the turd tip jumps out of the girl and hightails it over to the dad, and now the dad is up running around. Unfortunately, I guess it somehow keeps control of the girl, because she's only herself for a few minutes, and then she comes back as a deadite again. Very, very scary. Becky is like freaking out. Casey goes running off. Becky's freaking out. What am I doing? I don't know. Jason comes down and he's like, okay, we're going to hide. They run off to I think they somehow got under the house, didn't they? Or was it like a tool shed or something? They get into some weird... No, it has to be under the house. They get under the house where they're hiding from Deadite dad and Deadite sister.
Mm-hmm.
Deadite's dad...
I do think this is where I went to get a burrito or something.
Was it a turd tip burrito?
It was not.
I hope not. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
I did go to the kitchen once.
Okay, perfect.
I must have missed that part.
Okay. They get under the house where they're trying to be quiet, but Deadite Dad goes crawling under there with them. Deadite Dad manages to kill Jason right there on the spot. Becky is trying to crab walk her way out of there, but then Deadite daughter is in the house above and punches through the floor and pulls Becky up through the floor and then hands her to Leslie Bison. Now... Let's go back to our giant turd in the woods.
Let's do.
Let's do, Jason. Try to contain your excitement. This fucking thing, whatever it is sprouting organs, I guess. Petals.
Yeah, they almost look like they're growing like a bunch of elongated testicles.
I'll call it that. Yeah, but they pulsate.
It's either
too.
that or some kind of wonton soup.
It could be. It could be a wonton soup, which sounds pretty good. It's growing something.
Yeah.
And Leslie Bison pulls Becky out from the floorboards, and she's wrestling her down, and then she makes her swallow one of these nuts. These fucking
whatever it is.
Plums, fuck things. I don't know.
It's like a little bitty heart.
It's pulsating, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I'm sure it's not tasty.
I just assume it was a testicle.
I'll go with that. We're going to call it a testicle.
Turd tip testicle.
Turd tip testicle. Wrap your lips around that, why don't you?
You do that.
Makes her swallow it. Once she gets it in her system, she rolls her eyes back in her head and kind of goes unconscious. All right. Very cool. Casey is running around out in the woods, and she happens upon Mumbra, who's with me. And Casey's I don't know. But then she goes off. Well, first she goes and runs into Mika, who's on her way to the cabin. Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, it's just coming up to check on you guys. So naturally, Casey stabs her in the arm. I kind of like that part.
Well, she's at 11 o'clock?
Yeah, I don't think so, bitch. So she takes Mika out and ties her to a tree and starts interrogating her. Mika's giving her a bunch of half-ass answers about it's already started, you can't stop it. How do I get my family back? You can't, they're already gone. All you can do is give them peace. Eventually, Leslie Bison calls Mika on the phone, and Mika's like, hey, I'm almost there, as she's being tortured by Casey. Casey then takes the phone away, and she's like, look, fucker, you've got my daughter or that other chick, and I'll trade. I'll give you this Mika chick here for my my daughter's friend. She's like, okay, deal. Bring her up to the thing there. It's like, okay, great. So she cuts Mika loose and starts come on, we're going to go. And she's poking her with a knife as she goes. Mika's like, look, you should go talk to the people in the woods because they know how to combat this. And if anybody can stop this thing, it's them. She's like, okay, I'm going to tie you to a different tree. And I'm going to go walking off into the woods to try to find, quote-unquote, them. So she goes off, walking off. Mika's there, and she runs into Mumbra, who takes them to the weird AV setup. And then she makes Casey sit down. We find out that Mumbra is actually Becky's grandma, who she was trying to get a hold of.
She made good time.
What the fuck, man? Either these people lived literally right around the corner from this place, at which point this doesn't make any sense, or Mumbra can fly, which as I recall, he might have actually been able to do in the original Thundercats.
Possibly.
I know that he got.
I was too busy focusing in on Chitara's ass.
Baby. Whew. That was something. Anyway, Mumbra's like, come here, I'm going to make you watch this. She makes Casey watch the goddamn horseshit true crime documentary that entails the crimes that she is now committing after she's committed them. and to include the Leslie Bison campaign ad.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, look, see that? That's what's going on. So chain of events is already in motion. Not much you can do about it.
She said, what am I watching? She said, you're seeing the future.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
all right.
That's what's going on. But if you want to set your family free and save their souls, you have to cut their heads off, dig the turd nugget fragments out of their neck area, and then set their bodies on fire. So that's what you got to do. You got to go do that.
And she's just, okay.
All right. Well, I guess that's
sever the heads of my family. All right.
That's what I'm going to do. I got to get the turd nuggets out. So back she goes to the cabin. She's got an axe now. Very scary. I think Mika got killed.
Yeah, somebody jammed something through her eye.
We have to assume
Who
it's
would
Leslie.
kill her?
I assume it was Leslie.
Why?
I don't know.
She's part of it.
You would think so, but I think Leslie was going rogue.
Stupid.
I don't know, man. I think she's gone rogue on the Mumbras of the woods.
But so shit, you know I'm terrible with names. Who's the main chick?
Which one?
The mom,
Casey.
Okay, so Casey says to Mumra, she says, "So this is who you're putting your money on, Leslie,
right?
Bison." And she said, "Yeah, that's basically our horse in the game at this point.
Yeah.
This is who we're banking on."
Yeah,
she's a fucking asshole. Like, why would they?
You talking about Leslie?
Leslie. Like, why would they pick her? She's terrible. She's a horrible person.
She gave some half-ass thing about
she's jamming sticks through Mika's head, apparently.
Clearly. She gave some half-ass reason about how witches have been pushed back, but every couple centuries they find somebody that can push everything forward and like bring light and acceptance or something like that. And I think,
all right.
Hey, I didn't write this shit, man. I'm just telling you what I remember. That's the plan. And then even Lily Lane is like, well, that's really the best we got right now. So I'm going to sacrifice my granddaughter, and you got to sacrifice your family. And good luck. You can get the turd nuggets out of their necks, then at least their souls won't be damned or whatever. So that's pretty much what happens. Big struggle. We get to meet the neighbor that was already in the true crime documentary and see him call the police. Big struggle out on the pier there where Casey has to cut the head off of Jason, I believe, and then she puts all the bodies together and lights them all on fire as the police are pulling up, and there's that. That's pretty much
There was this one part where she lops this dude's arm off with the axe.
Yeah.
And he is straight holding his arm behind his back.
You can see that. Yeah, you can see it.
The worst.
I know. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It is so terrible.
Did you please tell me you stuck around for the credit cookie?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? You didn't know about the credit cookie?
No.
Okay, after the credits roll in their entirety,
yeah,
we cut back to the AV Forest situation where another true crime documentary comes on describing about how a family of 6 was murdered and the younger brother was missing. So apparently,
so they're going to get together, knock
boots. There is not going to be a sequel to this movie.
Won't. You really got a set of nuts on you to create this horrible movie, and then you must really think highly of your script and your movie to think people are going to sit through the credits. For that little nugget.
Yeah. I think that I didn't read any of the trivia involving this or any of the the production things or any of that. I assume that there was a sequel planned, and they wanted to put a little nugget in there to maybe get some rewatch value out of the first one. I don't know, man. It's not a good movie, Jason.
No.
It's flawed in many ways. Barbara Crampton herself couldn't save this one. I'm not mad at it because I refuse to be mad at it. But if I were to... I know that doesn't make any fucking sense.
That makes no sense.
But it makes sense to me.
I'm not asking you to be mad, but can't you at least be a little bitter?
I'm not going to watch it again.
You showed it.
I tell you, I'm not going to recommend that anybody else watch it. What I think happened is much like the dipshit movie that we made. Somebody wrote a very ambitious script and thought that maybe this would be like ahead of its time somehow, and pushed it through production. And
they should have used the future-seeing mummies to see down the road that it was a horrible movie and then just stop production.
Should have consulted Mumbra.
Yeah.
Really is what you want to do. Ancient spirits of evil.
Sarah got home before I finished watching the movie. So she saw a good chunk of it.
Okay.
And then I'm just, complaining nonstop during the last probably 15, 20 minutes.
Inconceivable.
And she's like, okay, what's the rating? And I'm like, 3 out of 10. She's like, why can't you just say 1? And I'm like, well, there's at least 3 stars worth of something there. Like the jaw ripping scene.
That wasn't bad.
That was good.
That was not bad.
I appreciated. I always try to give a little bonus points to one, Barbara Crampton, but 2, AJ Bowen. There was at least 3 stars. It didn't end up in my absolute garbage list.
That's good.
But 3's pretty fucking low.
Do you think this is better than Alone with You? That's the one where the chick was in her apartment the whole time by herself.
I would rather rewatch this.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I probably would too. I think it was just too ambitious.
This at least has some gore to carry me through.
Yeah.
It's got some laughable stuff like turd nuggets.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is
turd
that.
tips.
If they had ditched the true crime documentary thing, it could have been okay. Family under siege in the woods.
Well,
weird,
the whole pile
action.
of TVs in the middle of the woods.
That's pretty. Well, I get rid of that too. You don't. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's so silly. And why wouldn't it just be one television?
They had a subwoofer, a tuner,
a sound bar.
I'm pretty sure there was
an Atmos surround sound setup,
a router out there for Wi-Fi. They're playing video games and shit, but no roof over their head. Just this shit laying around the woods, which I thought was bananas.
Well, it was clearly impervious to weather because there wasn't a flake of snow anywhere around it.
None whatsoever. Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
It only snows on that side of the woods. I don't know, man. Like I said, I think the writing was a bit ambitious, and it just didn't translate. And if they would have done themselves a great big favor if they had saved all of the dipshit true crime stuff until like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And even then, you don't need like that, all of that. Just a quick voiceover, maybe some crime scene footage here and there. Done. But when you put it like in the first 10 minutes, now I know what's going to happen.
And then just repeatedly sprinkle it in.
Hammer that shit home, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not into it. I'm going to tell you to skip this one, inmates. Apple Cart or Dead Night. Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want it.
You don't.
Let's take us a little break and we'll come back with some other stuff. Mr.
Please.
Harold.
And they want my heart. If you feel like you take me away and make it okay, I swear I'll behave. You wanted control, so we waited. I put on the show. Now we're naked. You say I'm a kid. My ego is big. I don't give a shit. Where it goes like this. Take me by the tongue and I know you. Kiss me till you're drunk and I show you. Moves like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger, I've got to move. Moves like Jagger. I don't need to try to control you. Look into my eyes and I own you. Moves like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger, I've got to move. Moves like Jagger. Baby, it's hard when you feel like you're broken and scarred. Nothing feels right, but when you're with me
Hey inmates, if you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And we're back, Mr. Harrell. Is your microphone on?
It is.
It is. Well done.
I'm right here.
Okay, he made it. I don't know, man. I like going out in the woods, at night. I've never encountered a book of witchcraft. I've never encountered any dead bodies. I did find like a weird insect. When I was in Australia, they got some strange insect life over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things have tattoos and stuff. They're scary. They're like, hey, how's it going, mate? Like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Insect. I'll just head back the way I came. I don't know, man. Well, are you ready to get into the meat hook?
Just a spider sitting around playing a fucking didgeridoo.
Hey, watch where you're stepping, eh?
We love you, Tim.
I am sorry, Tim. I know how that sounded. Let's get into a meat hook here, man.
Let's do.
Three on a meat hook.
This week's meat hook. Horror movies that take place in or involve the woods, cabins in the woods, or houses in the, somehow
woodsy.
Wood-centric, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jason, what do you got for number 3?
Oh, number 3, Cabin in the Woods.
Very cool. I like that one a lot.
Just rewatched that recently, and it's so good.
Despite its title, you don't get a lot of woods action in that. Most of the
more cabin
and then weird corporate situations. Yeah. Great show. To this day, I rue the fact that has not become a franchise.
Yeah.
Could have easily been a franchise.
Oh, they've got so many things.
So many.
Expand upon.
I would have been there.
But of course,
every year.
The Earth's dead. So.
And that's my one complaint with it is the ending.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to kill my stoner friend, so he's going to die in a few minutes anyway when the Earth ends, along with me. I'll kill that motherfucker right now.
It's good stuff.
It is. I love it. My number 3, a slightly more obscure film, but one that I absolutely fell in love with, by Eduardo Sanchez, entitled Lovely Molly.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yep.
Love it. One of my favorite, probably in my top 15 of all time.
Nice.
I like the way it goes from found footage back. I like the dynamic between chemical addiction, mental illness, and actual supernatural goings-ons. What I will tell you, if you haven't already, don't watch the special features on the disc.
Why?
Because it explains everything, and I find that you're better off not knowing.
Yeah.
The very last scene of the movie where you actually get to see the demon somewhat, if you're really paying attention and you know where to look, is like one of the best endings that I can think of in horror films. And Eduardo Sanchez, that's like his wheelhouse, out in the woods.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got your Blair Witch Project. You got your Seventh Moon. Exists also. That's kind of where he lives. Now, I don't think anybody does it better than him when it comes to horror movies in the woods.
Good pick. What is it about those extra, like the extra features that you're saying ruins it?
Yes.
What is it that they're doing that ruins it?
It tells you exactly what happened, why it happened. It gives you the history of the house that she was living in.
So your own interpretation is better?
Yeah,
okay.
I find. Because, it's all right. There's like basically anybody that spends a certain amount of time in that house dies. And it's because the house was built by a Revolutionary War general who made some pact with that horsehead demon. I don't.
Okay.
Just don't even. Just take it for what it's worth.
Gotcha.
How about number 2, big dog?
Coming in at number 2, you're next.
Okay. Okay.
A house, but woodsy.
In a secluded area. Yeah. I'll give you that. Again, not a lot of woods action in there.
No.
But the part where was it the girl that escapes and makes it to the neighbor's house? Or was it...
the main chick goes over to the neighbor's house.
Yes, and that's where...
At a point to borrow, like, sugar or something.
Well, no, that's when she finds the dead bodies, right? And that song is playing on repeat.
Song's playing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they've been dead from the night before.
Yeah, but I don't think she saw that. I don't think she saw the dead bodies.
I think it was Swanberg's wife that made it over there, and they killed her in the neighbor's house. Been a while since I've seen that one.
Yeah, no. Barbara Crampton?
No, Barbara Crampton got killed
in the house.
In the house,
right?
You want to fuck me next to your dead mom? What?
Yes.
Well,
sure. Why not?
She's not technically my mom. Can we at least get her on the floor?
Yeah, good stuff though. But yeah, another kind of just secluded, woodsy area.
Yeah,
remote.
Great show. You can't. The home invasion doesn't leave a lot of room for humor. But I found that this one actually, with the dysfunctionality of the family and what a bunch of fucking pricks they were to each other, it kind of melded in there nicely. I thought.
And to look at the tie-in with tonight's main feature, you've got AJ Bowling and
you do and Barbara Crampton. This time, well, they both die in You're Next, and Barbara Crampton lives in this one. But You're Next, a much better film than Apple Cart, I would say.
What you got?
Number 2, The Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
Now, here's what a gullible prick I am. Yes, I fully admit I thought it was real, but there's a caveat to that. Mm-hmm. When that movie came out, I was still in the Marine Corps, and there was a guy in my platoon from Maryland, and this fucking asshole jumped right on board.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we've known it. We don't go in those woods, bro. Oh, that girl, she dated my cousin for a couple of weeks.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I'm, oh, shit, are you serious? What the fuck is going on out there? Mm-hmm. Oh, I was pissing my pants thinking about that. The cool thing about going deep into the woods, you have that lost, helpless aspect of it. But on top of that, you have something out there with you. Could be a fucking bear. Yeah. Could be the Haddiger brothers. We're never going to know for sure. And I'm not going to bore you again with my research into the Blair Witch Project, but I will say that there is a sequence in that movie in which we were supposed to see something, and it's much better that we didn't, because if we had seen what we were supposed to see, it would have really pissed me off.
Yeah. If I didn't base my meat hooks on like dwellings within the woods,
sure,
and I went solely woods, it would probably be number 2.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
I get that.
Massive Blair Witch fan.
How do you feel?
I love it.
How do you feel about Heather Donahue?
She doesn't annoy me the way she does you.
I
think she does really good.
You think so? I get
especially when she's like apologizing to Mike's mom and shit like that, and she got the fucking
you got to stare right up her goddamn nostrils.
Christ snots coming down.
Yuck.
She does really good at that moment.
And to that point, I
think they're all assholes.
Well, of course, they're dipshits, and they have no business being out in the woods. But to that point, I understand that I'm supposed to hate her. Mm-hmm. She's acting in a fashion that she was given direction to, and for the specific purposes of making me and the rest of the audience hate her. And I guess, despite the fact that I do hate her, I have to see past that and understand that she's doing her job correctly. I just can't get past the fact that I want to punch her stupid, ugly face is the problem, Jason. All right, man. I already told you my number 2. What's your number 1?
Number 1, Evil Dead remake.
My number 1, Evil Dead original. And this is where
how dare you?
You and I have to arm wrestle, sir. I love the remake also.
Yeah.
The original, though, I think it's just because I saw it at an age where I had no business watching that, any of it. And the tree rape scene is much more guttural, I find, in the original. Although probably a bit more realistic in the remake, you know.
I saw the original 1 and 2 much later in life.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't see them when I was really young or anything. And I've just always had this disdain for like stop motion animation, like the claymation
at the end.
Yeah, the like melting flesh that's done with like clay.
Yeah,
just is so off-putting to me.
I get it. I get that. Yeah, I think I was probably 6 when I saw it.
Yeah, part 1 much better than part 2 for me. But yeah, but the remake, I mean that's just pure horror gold.
I agree. The only reason I like part 1, probably more than the remake, is the rape scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't deny that first, even if she wasn't willing at the time, she was enjoying herself. I felt like, right? And to even be more fair, the trees and the shrubbery in part 1, or the original, I should say, were much more sensual and tender lovers.
Yeah.
than they were. The remake, it was like, bang.
Right.
I'm going to spread your legs and I'm going for broke. And sorry about the splinters. But in the original, it was like carefully removing her clothes. Well, I mean, it was ripping it, but it was like, very, like a little foreplay there, I found. I should probably...
You're rooting to be a little more sensuous.
I should probably seek therapy, I guess. I don't know.
Or maybe I should.
One of them. We'll both go. I don't know. Right on, inmates. We would like to know what your top 3 woodsy-style horror movies are. Let us know. The mental health hotline is area code 775-387-0275. Or you can email us at thepaddedroom2011@hotmail.com. While you are contemplating that and getting your list together, we're going to tell you what movies we got to watch this week in a little segment called What Are You Looking At?
What are you looking at?
And real quick, just to add in Sarah's picks. For,
she's got 3? Sure.
Yeah, so she had Misery, Cabin in the Woods, and Strangers.
Okay.
Now, I don't think you're a big fan of The Strangers, are you?
I am. I like the original a lot. Okay. What I'm not a big fan of is what a fucking pussy Scott Speedman was in that movie.
Right. Well, I thought you found that so off-putting that it wrecks the movie.
I wouldn't say it wrecks the movie for me. It makes certain sequences very laughable to me. Because at a certain point, it's like either run or fight.
Yeah.
But just going from room to room, hiding behind various pieces of furniture is clearly not going to do it for you, my friend. You're going to have to do something here.
Yeah, it's a disturbing movie to me because that's the most realistic movie in the horror genre. Is just because that's some shit that will and can happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
you were home.
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't need a reason.
Nope, I'm high on whatever, and you open the door, and there it is.
So what are you looking at?
What am I looking at, Mr. Harrell? I'll tell you right now, I got around to watching Sick on your recommendation.
All right.
Now, you had a little confusion as to the messaging in this movie. So the crux of the movie is that that one actually would kind of fit into our meat hook too. As far as the woodsy, seclusion aspect of it. You have 2 young ladies self-quarantining in a cabin in the woods. The whole crux of the story is that our villain is after them because they were one of them was part of a super spreader event in which somebody dear to the killers was infected with COVID and died. Now, within the fiction of this scenario, we have to assume these are young kids, obviously. We have to assume that whatever strain of COVID or COVID by itself or whatever it was lethal to this young kid enough to kill him. All right, so really, whose fault is it? You can't. They want to blame everybody at the event, but it was that young man's choice to go to the event. As I don't want to ruin this, but make some bad decisions at the event and thus contract COVID and die from it. So it's never mentioned in the movie, but again, within the fiction of it, the average audience member has to assume that A, he had an underlying condition, B, was morbidly obese, C, was in his 80s, or D, never really had COVID and died of something completely unrelated to begin with. Regardless, I'm trying not to ruin this, but my interpretation of all this is the messaging involves people using COVID as an excuse to be their worst possible selves and vent undue anger on other people that probably don't deserve it. That's where I'm at with it. How do you feel?
Don't know.
So
I honestly, I think I watched it with. Unfortunately, most movies have just given us these anal fistings of so much bullshit messaging that you have to assume you're being preached at, even with the most innocent of movies.
Right.
So I think I had my shields up so aggressively watching it that I couldn't just absorb it, take it in, and enjoy it for what it was.
Okay.
I really think it's a movie I need to watch again.
Okay.
Before I can kind of enjoy it more. I do believe that it was... I do agree with what you're saying. I do believe it was more kind of pointing its finger at people looking to point their fingers in blame and just going over the edge and to be just complete and total assholes.
Yeah.
Because you did see a lot of decent people not behaving decently.
Yeah, totally.
Over something completely stupid.
Right. Letting their fear get the best of them.
Yeah.
Or in this case, their anger.
Yeah. We're all going to come and go.
Of course.
And
if
this
I
is
die
just another thing.
If I die of COVID, as far as I'm concerned, I did something right. I didn't get set on fire. I didn't get dragged from my car and beaten to death.
Right.
I didn't get shot in the head.
Yeah. You were just living your life.
I didn't do anything that's going to go viral, hopefully. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll take COVID. Sure, give it to me. Sounds great. Other than that, I agree with your assessment. It's not a bad movie as like a standalone slasher.
Had some good slashing
stuff. It had some
stuff.
good killings going on.
Some good kind of chase scenes in there.
Yeah. A lot of suspense. Now that you mention it, I see a lot of parallels to The Strangers with like the music situation and the seclusion of it and things like that. I watched that, and I also watched Graduation Day from 1981. So last week I got to check out the two In Search of Darknesses and realized that I am wickedly behind on my 80s horror. So I made a list of all the movies in those documentaries that I
would
haven't
have thought
seen.
You would have seen that one. I haven't. I would have thought that you would have.
I did not.
Yeah.
When I looked it up, I recognized the movie poster, which is that iconic shish kebab thing in the mouth thing. The movie itself is fine. It's typical 80s schlock. Linnea Quigley plays the school slut, and you get to see her. But this is a pre-breast implant Linnea Quigley.
Right.
So there's that. Turns out, well, I'm not. You said you haven't seen it?
No.
You're probably not going to watch it. I'm going to tell you right now. It's pretty silly.
Is it also the one with like the kind of jester mask? Like
no.
Is there a poster with?
No.
Okay.
I think you're thinking of Fade to Black, but I could be wrong.
No, definitely not Fade to Black.
Night Train to Terror?
I don't remember.
Okay. That one's got like a Groucho Marx mask kind of a thing going on.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I think its alternate title was actually April Fool's Day, which clashed with
the April Fool's Day that we know and
movie.
love. That's all I'm looking at, Jason. What do you got?
2 movies. Rewatched Don't Breathe. Still solid.
Love that.
Yep. Still a good flick. And we went to the movies and saw Missing.
Missing? What is that about?
Missing is... Did you see that that movie with... Was it John Cho? Searching?
No.
Where he's like looking for his daughter.
I know what you're talking about.
And it's all kind of from the perspective of...
Online,
internet shit.
Yeah.
You're basically staring at a movie screen that's staring at a
Skype
laptop
window kind of a thing.
So
yeah.
this was that.
Okay.
It was actually really good.
You think it's better than Searching?
I liked it better than Searching.
Okay.
I know Tim is a big fan of Searching. It may have even been his number one for that year.
Ooh.
Absolutely more of a thriller than a horror movie.
Okay.
I liked this one better. I believe he liked Searching better, but it was more impactful to him as a father.
Yeah,
because it was the father looking for the daughter. This
Right.
one, a daughter is looking for a mother.
Oh.
But we both really liked it.
Very cool.
We scored it over a 7.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Right on. Alrighty then. How about some immersion therapy?
Let's do it.
Young man.
Immersion therapy.
What did you think of The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, Mr. Harrell?
I enjoyed it.
Good show, right?
Yeah, I do like the title "Let Sleeping Corpses Lie" better.
The box art for that version is much better.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just really like that title.
Okay.
But no, it's actually just a solid flick. The lead guy, he's such a prick.
Isn't he, though?
Oh, man, he's a prick.
You've dented up my motorcycle. I will now take over your life.
Yes. You're going to drive me here, and I'm driving your car.
Yes. We don't want to go the whole way in reverse. So,
except for the very, very ending of it, I didn't like how he returns to kill the detective.
Police captain, yeah.
That part's a bit of a stretch for me.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. I know.
Okay, this guy knows where he's staying for a hotel room.
And he's in zombie mode.
And he's already in the room. He picks locks.
Right. Yeah. Other than that,
though, I really enjoyed it. It had some great visuals.
I really like the look of those zombies.
Yeah, it looked good. There was a lot of good just practical effects.
Yeah.
Good gore, lots of good blood. Sutures, I mean, you name it, man.
Oh, yeah.
It really had a lot going for it.
And a baby zombie. You don't get to see that too much these days.
Yeah, thank goodness those fuckers don't have teeth.
It's true. They'd be very scary if they did. It's not a bad show. 1974, if I'm not mistaken. Streaming right now on Shudder, if anybody's interested. There is some boobs in it, but only during the opening credits for a split second when randomly...
What is up with the chick running naked across the street?
She just does it.
Has nothing to do with the movie
nothing
at all.
Just, she said she'd do it, so we got to film it.
Well, we need tits in the movie,
and then that's how it's going down. So there it is. Pretty good show, man. I like it. It's one of my favorites and one of the few steelbooks that I own.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Your immersion therapy for this week is going to be Messiah of Evil from 1973. This one stars Michael Hill and Joy Bang. Yes, that is her actual name. Find that bad guy streaming on Shudder, inmates. Check it out. We will do the same and compare notes next week. But now we must educate Darian.
Educating Miss Monica.
First, my clues from last week. I am a reasonably attractive young college student who has decided to stay in the dorm for the holidays. Went to the gas station to get some snacks, and the creepo from the gas station has followed me back to my now completely empty dorm and is trying to kill me. Turns out he's some part of some global cult thing, almost incel-esque, and they call all their victims Christy. And my name's not Christy, but that is the title of the movie. Alan got me. Have you seen Christy, Jason?
No.
It's not a bad show. Have you seen P2?
Yes.
It's P2 on a campus.
Oh, okay.
A lot less cleavage. P2, the bouncing jubblies in that movie are really something. I could watch that one on a loop. Just watch her going up and down the stairs, really. That's all you need. Right on. Who might I be this week, you ask?
We do ask.
Jason, I am a dead body that was found in the woods. All intents and purposes, looks like I was a suicide. But turns out I am a ghost now. And I am now haunting the kid that found my dead body. And we've kind of actually struck up a bit of a friendship, me and him, and the girl that he's trying to bang. So I don't want to move on, so I'm going to continue to haunt this dude. But his side piece over here is kind of getting in the way of our undead bromance, I guess.
Right.
For lack of a better term. Good news, we're really getting along. Bad news, she has done some occult reading and is coming up with ways to possibly banish me, so I gotta nip that shit right in the bud, goddammit, Jason. I'm a loner as it is, and I'm a dead body in the woods. So fuck me, I can't have her.
Need all the friends you can get.
And he just wants to get laid, I know it. Fucking horny guy. I'm dead. What am I gonna... I'm not laying anybody. There's also a creepy old lady... ghost of a creepy old lady out in the outskirts there that can really fuck some things up if I get her involved. Who might I be, you ask? Tune in next week, and I will drop some knowledge on you, inmates. I think that's about going to do it for us this week, though, Jason Harrell. Join us next week for Beyond the Gates, closing out Barbara Crampton month here in the Padded Room. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you found this show. That helps our visibility quite a bit. We also have a Patreon campaign running. If you feel like being a Padded Room superstar... you can take yourself to support.paddedroompodcast.com. That takes you right to our Patreon page. $5, dude. That's all we're asking. $5. I'm going to send you a travel mug, a t-shirt, and you're going to get control of the month of February. Other than that, that's all I got for the week. Jason, you got anything else?
I don't, Darian Brock.
Well, alrighty. See, I got too many syllables. It doesn't work for me. Darian Brock does not roll off the tongue the way Jason Harrell does.
Unlike my testicles.
4. Woods at night and the scary shit inside them. Witches, true crime documentaries, Funko toys that sell for a lot more than I think they should for some goddamn reason. And the Padded Room Podcast. I'm afraid visiting hours are over.
Bye.